Beginning in the spring of 2014, Georgia Southern's Communication Arts Department will have a single department building.
This building here, being the only wood structure that we've done this to, had a lot of renovations throughout the years. So it started out with gang-style bathrooms and things like that and was modified to be more suite-style. And how it came to academics was that it was the last dorm left on this side of campus, and housing wanted to renovate it again, but when they found the cost to renovate it to what the students were expecting was going to be too high, they were never going to be able to recoup their costs. So they turned it back over to us, and that's how we got where we are today. I think the way that we're tying the old and the new together is going to be really fascinating. I mean, obviously you have the old structure on the outside, and we've taken all the interior structure and made it new and modern, but like the stairwell here will remain exposed brick on the inside of the stairwell, so you'll still have, when you walk from the outside to the inside, you go old, new, and then you go into the stairwell and you'll get the old again.
Previously a dormitory, Sanford Hall combined 6 different buildings that were previously served as a communication arts department.
A lot of, sustainability is a major concern and a big push in the Board of Regents and on Georgia Southern's campus. So when we're doing a building like this, we're getting points for reusing the exterior walls. We're getting points for, not demolishing a building. We're getting points for recycling, the materials that we're taking out of the building. It really helps us on the LEED credits. And like we got LEED silver on Brandon Hall, and we're shooting for LEED silver on this job as well. When you're reusing a building, it just really helps the sustainability of the overall campus.
And if the owner is committed to preserving the exterior of a building for historical purposes, then this is an example of what can be done if they're committed to it, because it is a little more expensive to go this route.
The renovated Sanford Hall will solve big problems for communication arts students logistically. Students will no longer have to walk up and down campus to get to classes in the same department.
This is the 6th building of the 3 flanking buildings from the main 3 on Sweetheart Circle. This is the last one that we have completed for adaptive reuse, and they were all originally dormitories, and we've put them into all kinds of things into the buildings, and this is probably the most technically advanced renovation that we've done.
Your initial reaction is to either use it for some program that has smaller spaces, or to tear it down. And we're kind of showing that you can, a little more effort, you can do more with these older buildings.
The Board of Regents has been very pleased with the adaptive reuse that we have been doing, and we've been doing it for just over a decade now. Modernizing these old buildings, and we're proving that it can be done. It can be done economically. And other universities within the Georgia system are starting to catch on to that, and that's exciting. We're kind of the spearhead of that.
According to contractor John Lavender, the building was due for an overhaul. The building, originally built in 1937, has not seen renovation since 1977. Modifications were necessary even if it weren't for Sanford's transformation into a department building.
When we started, we have to shore all of that up to catch the roof loads. And in the meantime, we've shored that up. We've got to also put our new steel in without losing the integrity of the roof or the walls. So once again, it's been a challenge getting a lot of steel and a lot of concrete in an existing building without affecting the exterior of it.
VZ Hall is it was an old dorm like this building, but it's concrete floors with concrete post construction, whereas Sanford Hall was wood framing. So when we did the renovation of VZ Hall, we were restricted because we still had to keep concrete columns for the structure and of course the existing floor slabs. So if you go in VZ now, even though it's a nice office building, you have problems with some of the sight lines because you have structural columns that you couldn't avoid leaving. Sanford Hall will be all new steel construction, and so you will not have sightline problems with structural columns.
The issue here is that the outside walls are load bearing; they hold themselves up, but the wood frame on the inside held those walls up. It kept them from falling in. So you had to get the steel structure in before you could take the wood structure out, so that you had to replace the steel that's holding the outside walls before you took out the wood that was holding the outside walls.
One of the great benefits is that the new building will house the university's radio station and television station under one roof.
Bringing the broadcast studio and television studio over here, it's just so that's a little bit different for us. And then the structure obviously is different than the other ones were concrete. We at Georgia Southern have been committed to adaptive reuse. We feel that the buildings here on Sweetheart Circle create the identity that we want the university to have.
I recognize from early childhood, coming to Georgia Southern and seeing what Sweetheart Circle is, and I think that's part of what's interesting about the project is from the Sweetheart Circle aspect, we're not changing anything other than a construction fence for the 13-month duration of the project.
There's an opening here, which is the main entry, and then there'll be a second curtain wall opening on the other end for the TV and radio studios, and they will be connected with the courtyard, an outside courtyard, and a canopy. So we are renovating this side of the building. We're not touching the other three sides, so it'll look exactly the same on Sweetheart Circle as it does right now. We're going to clean up the brick and touch up, do a little tuck and pointing on some of the grout joints, but other than these two entries, the rest of the building will be exactly the way it's always been. We didn't want to mess with the Sweetheart Circle side.
The hall is scheduled for use in early 2014 and will feature over $500,000 of improvements in new audio and video equipment.
Then also with the finishes and the furnishings, there will have some of that still. They're going to have a lot of the nostalgic film pieces and with new film pieces. So, it's going to be really an exciting space with a mixture of old and new. You'll have all new technology, and, it'll be how you'll be teaching your students will be how they'll be working in the real world now. So that'll be great for you all.
A project like this is good for the community. We're using a lot of local subcontractors and suppliers, and in the economy we're in right now, it's good for everybody. It provides jobs and gives back to the community.
The Sanford Hall renovation is a small part of a larger ongoing construction project across Georgia Southern University's campus this summer.
Well, you really have to you really have to have a commitment to preserving, your historical buildings, because it's probably would have been easier to demolish it and build a new building. But if you're interested in keeping and preserving the historical buildings on campus, it's much more complicated, but it's worth it.
For Channel 99 Eagle News, I'm Connor Hackling.